As a trader, have you experienced situations whereby you're about to enter a trade, it has met all your entry criteria, I mean your setup is very ready, but then something just tells you,
you know what, do not enter that trade?
In some other cases, you might actually enter, but the moment you enter the trade, you start feeling your stomach hurting, you start feeling so uneasy. Now that right there is the fear of losing. And I used to experience this almost on each and every one of my trades, but I managed to overcome this using these 3 tips that I'm about to share with you. Mind you, if you apply all these tips that I'm about to share with you, that fear of losing will be no more. So let's get right into it. I want to ask you, have you experienced situations whereby the moment you lose a trade, you start telling yourself, oh, I shouldn't have entered that trade? Now, if that's you, it is simply because you've never understood this one thing. You as a trader, you must understand that when you are trading, anything can happen, and the 2 things that can happen on that trade is either win or loss. So before you even enter the trade, understand that anything can happen on that particular trade. So for you as a trader, you must pre-accept the loss. Understand that there is a possibility of actually taking a loss on that trade. So what does this mean for you? You must risk what you can actually afford to lose as a trader. Do not put on big size and expect to actually not feel anything once a loss comes your way. You should be able to actually put on a risk of an amount of money or an amount of percentage that you can actually afford to lose on that particular trade. Now, the golden rule that I always like to go by is just the 1%. Only risk 1% of your account. So if I have $10,000, I'm only going to risk $100. That right there will not make me have sleepless nights because I know I've just lost $100. But if I risk 50% of my account, definitely I'll have sleepless nights, because losing $5,000 in just one trade, it can be one of the worst nightmares that any trader can actually experience. Now, before you enter, always put this in mind, because every time you feel scared in a trade or before a trade, just know you're trying to risk much more than you can actually afford to lose. Because remember, there will be 2 outcomes. You're either going to win that trade or lose that trade. So once this is already at the back of your mind, I can assure you that even when a loss comes your way, you're not going to feel surprised. You won't be surprised at all. You will know that, you know what, this is part of the game. If you really want to get rid of that fear of losing, always understand that anything can happen on that trade. So do not go overboard and risk it all in just that one trade. Now, for most traders, the natural thing that always comes to their mind once they've taken a loss is basically to blame themselves, blame their strategy. And for others, they become so negative in that very moment, because usually when adversity has just happened to us as humans, we tend to actually feel the worst in that short time period. But once time goes on, we basically feel much better about that particular event. So that's exactly what really happens to you as a trader. And for me, this is something I really struggled so much with. But once I understood that I don't need to actually look at just a single trade, I need to start evaluating myself in a series of trades. I always look at my trades in a series of 10 trades. So after 10 trades, I basically look back at the 10 trades and compare that with my age. If I have a strategy that basically has a 50% win rate, I basically look back, how many of these 10 trades did I win? Did I win at least the 5 that I'm expected to win? That right there gives me the confidence, since I know that after every 10 trades, I'm going to always be evaluating myself and finding out exactly if my strategy or my edge is still holding. Because this is the thing, trading is a game of numbers. If you don't know your numbers, definitely you can't be able to actually play this game, because when you have, let's say, 50% win rate, you must understand that you're not going to determine exactly how the distribution is going to be. It is very random in those 10 trades. You're going to find yourself maybe losing trade. So basically loss, and maybe winning, win. Or maybe you might find win, loss up to those 10 trades. So you must be prepared. So do not over risk on that particular trade, thinking that that's the trade that is actually going to end up as a win. It never works out that way. When you are trading, understand this is a game of probabilities that you must play in the right way. So have your edge, and then do not judge yourself on just that one trade. Judge yourself only after a series of, let's say, 10 trades, and basically look back to see if your edge is still holding. So the next time you step into the market, understand that you're playing a game of probabilities, and definitely you can't judge your probabilities on just that one trade. So allow yourself a series of 10 trades. That right there will give you good results to actually know if your edge is working or not. So I hope this is very clear to you. Now, this is probably the most important piece of advice that I ever received when it came to fear. Now, I used to be one of those people that once I'm into a trading position, I would basically be glued on my screen watching each price candle print on the chart, and that right there was always very detrimental, especially when it came to my mental side. Because if I went through a scenario where price is actually going against me and it's almost getting to my stop loss, I would basically panic and end up making errors, like, let's say, adding on to my losing position, and sometimes I would actually end up blowing my account. And that right there is a scenario, or it's basically a situation you as a trader you never want to be into. Now, the right thing to do for you as a trader, once you enter a trade, please walk away. Please step away. That right there is going to save you a lot, because every time you sit and micromanage that trade, it is going to end up messing you up. I can promise you, because we are human beings and we are emotional beings. If you see a trade, let's say, going against you, you're definitely going to fear a lot to lose your money, and you're going to end up making mistakes that you do not have to make. So the right thing to do every time you actually enter a trade, please walk away, step away, go do something else. This could be the perfect time for you to go run those errands, or maybe go put in that workout. If you have a business meeting to go do, please go for that meeting. That's the right time for that. Come back later, maybe after an hour or maybe after 2 hours, for you to check on your trade. That right there, I can promise you, to change everything for you as a trader. Now remember, we've said that number one, anything can happen, and then number two, we said we need to start looking at our trades in series. Do not look at that one trade and evaluate yourself. And then number three, which has been very important, is for you to always step away once you're in that trade. If you can work on all these 3 tips that I've just shared, I can promise you your trading is going to be much better, and that fear that you've been experiencing, it will definitely go away. Now in the comments, please let me know what's the biggest worry that you have for you as a trader, especially when it comes to your psychology. Please let me know in the comments, because I would really love to hear from you. And for more trading content, I would suggest you check out this next video.